I am ready. The story you are listening to is titled, My Mother Forced Me to Become a Modern-Day Saintess. My mother forced me to become a modern-day saintess. To be pure, she demanded I drink morning dew, eat only green vegetables, and never touch any savory food. When going out, I had to cover my entire body, not allowing any skin to be seen by the opposite sex. Eventually, I fainted from the heat. After a kind stranger took me to the hospital, my mother burst in, fighting with the male doctor who examined me, claiming he had defiled my purity. I tried to intervene, but she scolded me, calling me depraved for not upholding ancient virtues. Following her archaic methods, she locked me in a pig cage. What was even more terrifying was that my father and brother also believed her insane words. The next time I opened my eyes, I was back to the day my mother received the Saintess's dream. This time, I wanted my entire family to embrace purity fairly. Early in the morning, Mother rushed to call the whole family together. The Saintess appeared to me in a dream, she declared. She said our family's recent misfortunes are all because we haven't been pure enough. From today onwards, for the sake of this family, I must become a pure girl. Only when a woman is pure will good fortune come. Ever since Mother started attending women's virtue classes, she had spouted nothing but nonsense. But now, she was so deluded she'd even fabricated a Saintess's dream. How could our family's misfortunes be blamed on purity? It was clearly because Mother and Father believed a scam, investing in a get-rich-quick scheme that left us deep in debt. And my brother failing university. Wasn't that because he refused to study properly, instead getting entangled in an early romance with a spoiled girl? Yet, when Mother said only I needed to become pure, Father and brother happily agreed, acting as if it had nothing to do with them. I smiled coldly. In my previous life, they not only failed to stop Mother, they even helped her force me to become a saintess. I had tried to argue, but I couldn't fight against the three of them. Mother wouldn't let me eat meat or talk to men. In 40°C heat, she made me wear long-sleeved shirts, long pants, and a mask, then sent me out to collect dew to drink, claiming that's what saintesses do. My father said, "Your mother is doing this for the family. Don't be so selfish." My brother nodded in agreement. I suffered heat stroke and fainted. A kind stranger took me to the hospital. Simply because a male doctor examined me, Mother stormed into the hospital, causing a scene and demanding compensation because I was no longer pure. I dragged her home, telling her not to make a fool of herself, but she cursed me for covering for a lecher, and, using ancient methods, locked me in a pig cage. In despair, I slowly suffocated. No matter how much I begged, she was unmoved. My father and brother even blamed me for defiling myself and affecting the family's fate. Before I died, I heard them sneer, "Serves her right, who told her to mess with our good luck." When I opened my eyes again, seeing the three familiar faces before me, I smiled coldly. If the whip doesn't strike them, they won't feel the pain. This time, no one will live in peace. My mother looked at me with eager anticipation. Well then, let her taste the first whip. I hugged her arm, my smile brighter than blooming flowers. "Mother, this must surely be the will of heaven for the Saintess to have appeared to you in a dream." "I completely agree." My mother smiled widely, seeing my cheerful acceptance. I kept the smile on my face. "But if the Saintess appeared to you, Mother, then you must also follow her will. Our family has 2 women, so both of us must become Saintesses. That way, we'll attract even more good fortune, right?" My mother's face immediately turned pale. She glanced at father and brother a bit hesitant. "But, Mother is already married?" I chuckled softly. "Mother, a saintess only needs a sincere heart. As long as you are devoted, it's never too late to start. You are doing this for the family, after all." Mother was about to continue, but father interrupted. "All right, my daughter is right. As a mother, you should set an example, shouldn't you?" And so, Mother and I both became saintesses. We established a series of purity rules. Every day we had to wake up at 6:00 a.m. to kneel and pray to the Saintess, forbidden from eating anything related to meat. Every day we had to drink pure morning dew to cleanse our souls. When going out, we absolutely could not expose any skin. Our entire bodies had to be covered. And most importantly, strictly forbidden from talking to the opposite sex. To better enforce these rules, I even bought 2 masks so thick they made it hard to breathe. Mother was extremely enthusiastic, constantly planning new ways to become even more pure. Every rule was strictly observed in our house. I, too, followed them with utmost devotion. The next morning, I dragged Mother outside to collect morning dew. It was 39 degrees Celsius. The streets were full of people dressed lightly, everyone turning to stare at us as if we were two idiots. But Mother didn't care at all, she even looked smug. Those promiscuous, lost women out there are all low class. We are the truly noble ones, she declared, then pulled me towards a patch of grass near the apartment complex, meticulously searching for individual drops of dew on the leaves. After 2 hours, we finally collected enough dew to fill a bottle cap. In my previous life, I was used to this, and I had secretly taken some heat stroke medication, so it wasn't too bad. But Mother was exhausted, her head spinning, breathing heavily. She said weakly, "Morning dew is for good luck. 1 drop for each of us is enough. Let's pack up and go home." How funny, Mother never said that in my previous life. Back then, if I collected too little dew, she would grab my ear and scream, "How can so little dew cleanse your soul?" I looked at her, hesitantly asking, "Mother, is this enough to cleanse both our souls?" She looked momentarily flustered, then immediately flared up. "I am the one the Saintess appeared to in a dream, and I am your mother. How dare you question me?" She turned away in a huff. I thought to myself, her face must be contorted with anger right now. That evening, Father and Brother returned from work. Mother and I had printed out all the purity rules and tightly taped them to the front door. During dinner, Father and Brother enjoyed fragrant fried chicken, savoring every delicious bite. Mother and I, however, only had a plate of boiled vegetables with white salt. I heard my stomach rumble and Mother swallowed hard. A whole day of hard work and delicious food laid right in front of us, but we couldn't eat it. I had endured this feeling throughout my previous life, but for Mother, this was her first taste. She slammed her chopsticks down on the table, her face cold. "Your mother and I are working tirelessly to bring good fortune to this family, and what about you two? You just enjoy yourselves eating fried chicken." She glared at my brother, whose mouth was greasy from eating. "From tomorrow, you'll also have to contribute. The day after tomorrow, you'll be responsible for collecting morning dew and running errands. Your mother and sister are completely covered, making it inconvenient to go out." My brother groaned, immediately turning to Father for help. "But the Saintess's matter is for women, why do I have to do it?" Father continued chewing his fried chicken, slowly saying, "You're also part of the family. What's wrong with contributing a little effort? Don't be so selfish." I smiled, adding, Exactly. It's not just Brother. Father, it's your turn soon." From the next day, Brother had to wake up early to collect dew and run errands, like taking out the trash, every day. His complaints grew a little louder each day. But then, something unexpected happened. My father bought a scratch-off lottery ticket and won 10,000 yuan. The whole family immediately believed this was a miracle from the Saintess. Father threw a wad of cash on the table, excitedly saying, "Wife, you truly are a woman of destiny. We've only just begun, and our family's luck has already changed. I'll love you forever." Mother was ecstatic, almost delirious, believing in the Saintess even more. She even planned to tighten the purity rules. Among the new regulations was a clause that she would no longer sleep with Father. Seizing this opportunity, I suggested, "Mother, managing just our own household is a bit small-scale. Just the two of us being pure isn't enough. To accumulate more merit, we should call upon all women to become Saintesses." Mother nodded, her eyes full of determination. "Women must love themselves. Those outsiders are still too ignorant." I smiled. "Exactly. That's why you, Mother, are the leader, the guiding light." Suddenly, Mother's eyes wavered. "But if everyone becomes pure, won't our good fortune be stolen?" I smiled gently, emphasizing each word. "Mother, you're wrong. The Saintess only appeared to you in a dream. If you help others become pure, all the merit will be credited to you. Then our family will be rich and prosperous, glorious and flourishing." Mother looked at me, her eyes sparkling. Ultimately, she couldn't resist the allure of glory and prosperity. My mother used social media to inform all her friends, relatives, neighbors, and colleagues. "Hello everyone, I am Amy Guo. From today onwards, I call upon all women to stop creating bad karma. Do not dress provocatively, do not casually talk to men, and most importantly, do not kill or eat meat. I hope everyone adheres to these disciplines and together, we become pure women." Not only that, she also filmed this video and posted it on all social media platforms. The result? Not a single person supported her. In fact, the comments made her furious. "Granny, the Qing dynasty fell long ago, but your house hasn't been liberated yet. Auntie, if you're sick, go to the hospital. Don't spout nonsense in public and expose your intelligence. You're a woman, yet you're saying things that shatter all moral principles. In my previous life, Mother never did these things. All her energy was spent on forcing me to become pure. She cursed my homeroom teacher just because he was male and warned all the male students in my class not to have impure thoughts about me. As a result, the entire class ostracized and ridiculed me. In this life, I proactively left the class group chat and repeatedly promised not to talk to boys. Besides, Mother was busy spreading her Saintess ideology, so I felt much more relieved. Although very few people supported her, among them were surprisingly many men. "We support you, sister. You're truly the ideal role model for women. Nowadays, all these girls are promiscuous and need to be disciplined. Anyone who marries you will surely have ancestral blessings for generations." Well said. I'm poor because my wife doesn't know how to uphold virtue and isn't pure enough, bringing down the whole family. From now on, I'll monitor my wife and make her learn from you. My wife is truly a spendthrift, daring to spend 68 yuan on cherries and 99 yuan on a manicure. Not a shred of purity. I will definitely make her learn from the Saintess. My mother read each comment joyfully. After a moment of hesitation, she replied to these men, reasoning that sending messages via phone with men didn't count as violating the rules. During the day, Mother and I feigned devotion, strictly observing the Saintess's rituals. At night, I secretly ordered delicious food and had a delivery driver discreetly bring it into the house to nourish myself. But after just a few days, Mother grew thin and haggard, her complexion sallow. That morning, while kneeling and praying to the Saintess, she suddenly staggered and collapsed to the ground. Mother, are you all right?" I pretended to be exhausted, making no move to help her up. Mother gasped for breath, struggling to speak. "Take me to the hospital," I replied, feigning distress. "But Mother, we can't come into contact with men, and hospitals are full of mixed genders. They are all low-class people and will defile the Saintess." At this moment, Father also heard the commotion, rushed over, and nodded in serious agreement. Suddenly, I feigned panic and shouted, "Oh, Mother. Could it be that you have angered the Saintess? Is it because you messaged men online that the Saintess is punishing you?" My mother was stunned, but Father's face turned purple with rage. He grabbed Mother, growling each word. "Well done, Amy Guo. You forbid me from sleeping with you, but you flirt with men online? You wanton woman. Are you intentionally trying to destroy this family?" I quickly chimed in. "Exactly, Mother. Our family was having good fortune before." My father, feeling his male pride trampled, immediately beat Mother mercilessly. I cried out in fear as loudly as possible. "Stop hitting her, Father. She didn't mean it. How can you hit someone like that?" Outside, neighbors had gathered in a crowd, banging on the door, pretending to be concerned but actually just wanting to gossip. My whole family understood that. Finally, when Mother wailed miserably, Father reluctantly stopped, turning to shout at the people outside the door. "What are you banging for? Mind your own business first. Don't pretend to be a cat crying over a mouse here." I lowered my voice, speaking to Mother with a knowing tone. "Mother, there's another possibility. It could be because Brother's girlfriend is too promiscuous, which angered the Saintess." "What?" Mother shot up immediately. My father also looked at me sternly. I slowly took out a photo I had secretly taken. It showed my brother with his girlfriend. I sighed, saying softly, "I didn't intend to say anything. Brother doesn't like me anyway. But this affects our entire family's luck, you know." "Enough talk." Father slammed his hand on the table, roaring, "In this house, only I know how to behave. This matter is to be considered my discovery. It has nothing to do with you." And so, under Father and Mother's coercion, my brother was forced to bring his girlfriend home. My brother's girlfriend, Lily, had barely stepped through the door when my mother started hitting her head to toe with a feather duster. "Get rid of bad luck. Correct your mistakes. Become a pure woman." Lily was so scared she took 2 steps back, then reluctantly sat on the sofa under my brother's awkward gaze. But immediately, Mother started scrutinizing her from head to toe, scolding her for dressing provocatively. Lily's face grew redder and redder with anger, secretly glancing at my brother several times. It wasn't until Mother pulled her up, forced her down before the Saintess's statue, making her kneel and repent, and then sternly said, "Learn from me and become a pure woman. Otherwise, don't even think about stepping foot in this house. We are a noble family. A low-class girl like you doesn't deserve my son." No. Before Mother could continue her tirade, Lily, her face purple with rage, slapped my brother hard. "Aaron, your whole family is a bunch of lunatics. Your mother should see a psychiatrist, you bastard." Then she sprang up, decisively declaring their breakup. My mother immediately lunged, grabbing Lily's arm and shouting, "You vixen, how dare you speak to me? Look in the mirror and see what kind of person you are. It's your blessing to be cleansed by me, and you dare to hit someone." The two struggled, pulling and tearing at each other. I pretended to be pushed, hitting the corner of the table, crying out in pain, then sat to the side, enjoying the spectacle. The three of them pulling hair, tearing clothes, grabbing arms, it was no different from a monkey show at a circus. "Let go of me, you crazy family, I'm calling the police." Hearing, "calling the police," my mother suddenly calmed down, shoved Lily away, and said coldly, "Get out, you who have no blessings, don't even dream of stepping through my family's door." Lily didn't look back, leaving angrily. My brother tried to chase after her, but my mother grabbed him tightly, gritting her teeth. A girl with no upbringing, daring to create bad karma, we don't need that kind of daughter-in-law. My brother was furious, yelling, "Mother, if you want to go crazy, just target your own daughter. Why are you destroying my relationship?" I silently scoffed, just realizing Mother is crazy now. In the previous life, didn't you always say Mother was doing it for my own good? My mother was so angry she slapped him hard. "How dare you be disrespectful to the Saintess? I think you are the one who's been bewitched and driven crazy by that vixen." The two of them argued loudly, while Father, who had just returned from work, just stood there with his arms crossed, indifferently saying, "Making such a fuss over a spoiled girl? When our family prospers, what kind of woman can't you have?" Mother and brother continued to argue. I glanced at Father. He always put on an air of indifference, but soon it would be his turn to taste the whip. I wondered if he would maintain that attitude. My mother's actions caused a stir throughout the entire apartment complex. Everyone gossiped and ridiculed our family, but she didn't care, simply declaring, "They are all low-class people. How can they understand my purity?" That night, a fierce argument suddenly erupted from Mother's room. I went out to see and found my father beaten to a pulp, his head swollen like a pig's, while Mother was pulling his hair and kicking him. "You bastard, I'm being a saintess for this family, too. How dare you force me to do that?" My father wouldn't back down. "You're my wife, I married you, so you have to sleep with me. That's the natural order of things. Don't pretend to be so noble. There's no part of your body I haven't seen. What's with this act of chastity? You truly are depraved." My mother was completely immersed in her Saintess dream, and for a moment she went berserk with rage. "How dare you be disrespectful to me? I'll beat you to death, beat you to death." My brother wasn't home, and I just wanted to watch the show from the sidelines. Very quickly, their fight spilled from inside the house into the hallway, keeping the entire apartment complex awake. Neighbors crowded around, taking photos and videos. "You wanton woman, don't pretend to be a noble saintess in front of me. I am a saintess, a woman of destiny. How dare you disrespect me? A saintess who chats with men online in the middle of the night? You think I don't know?" The louder the commotion, the more at ease I felt. I quietly retreated to my room, pretended to take a sleeping pill, lay down in bed, and slept soundly. The next morning, this incident climbed to the top of the hot topics. Headlines read, "Middle-aged woman, devout believer in a saintess, fights with husband in apartment complex. Does a middle-aged man forcing his wife to have relations constitute a crime?" I scrolled through my phone, humming a tune, casually cracking sunflower seeds. I recalled how my father always pompously lectured us, but now that he was embroiled in this, why didn't he seem concerned about the family anymore? After savoring the last sunflower seed, I pretended not to know anything, rushing out with a worried expression. "Mom, Dad, what happened?" My father covered his swollen, red face, gritting his teeth. "Isn't it because of your mother?" Then he grabbed his briefcase and stormed out, angrily declaring, "I'm going to work. I'll deal with her tonight." My mother limped forward, looking at his retreating back with eyes full of hatred. "Bastard, marrying you is the biggest misfortune of my life." But before quitting time, my father returned, slamming his briefcase on the table. "Amy, you jinx, you made me lose my job. Now everyone online is saying I forced my wife. You won't be satisfied until you put me in prison, will you?" It turned out even my father's company knew about the incident, and he wasn't a particularly skilled employee to begin with, so he was fired. My mother, however, smiled smugly. "This is the consequence of not respecting me. It's all your karma. As long as you respect me, everything will go smoothly." My father was speechless with rage. He turned to look at me. I feigned agreement, nodding slightly. "Yes, Father, Mother is right. It's all for our family. You can't be so selfish." After saying that, I happily went back to my room to watch entertainment videos, ignoring my father who was fuming, unable to find any support, and now jobless. He grudgingly kept quiet, not daring to provoke mother anymore. He held on to the 10,000 yuan lottery winnings, leaving early and returning late every day. But that evening, I heard murmuring in my father's room. I gently knocked on mother's door, whispering, "Mother, listen, what's father secretly doing?" My mother immediately pulled me to father's door, quietly listening. Inside, it was my brother's voice. Dad, you have to give me money. Last time mother went crazy and Lily left me. Now, if I just buy her a secondhand branded bag with a button, she'll come back. Do you want to destroy my happiness, Dad? My father snorted coldly. Where would I get money to give you? That girl is okay, but she's too stubborn. She's demanding this much before marriage. What will she be like after? She'll skin you alive. Back when I married your mother, she paid for everything. My brother sneered. Do you think I don't know, Dad? You have money. Every night these past few days you've been going out looking for girls. I've taken pictures of everything. If you don't give me money, I'll expose everything you've done. My mother immediately gasped, her face flushing crimson with anger. Father roared furiously. You bastard, I'm your father, how dare you threaten me? My brother sneered. You're my father, but have you ever thought about me? You even secretly took pictures of me and Lily, making me lose the one I love. Stop spouting nonsense. Give me the money now. My mother could not hold back any longer. She kicked open the door and charged in, hitting them both with a mop. Our family's luck is declining because you two father and son are depraved bastards. Son, you side with a vixen against your mother, that's one thing. But you, my husband, you dare to go out looking for other women? My father wouldn't back down either. He swung his fist, punching mother directly in the face. She fell sprawling to the ground, unable to get up. It's because you wouldn't sleep with me. If you had satisfied me, would I need to go out looking for girls? And so the three of them lunged at each other, fighting fiercely. I pretended I couldn't stop them, rushing out to call the neighbors. Uncle, Auntie, please help my mother, my father and brother are beating her. The older sister on the third floor saw this and immediately called the police. Inside the house, it was a chaotic mess. They were still fighting wildly, unaware that the police were on their way. It wasn't until the neighbors rushed in to separate the three of them that the police and women's federations slowly appeared. What's going on here? We received a report of domestic violence. My father was so scared he avoided the police's gaze, repeatedly saying, "No, nothing at all." But my mother, in a fit of rage, cried and recounted, "He cheated on me. He goes out every night looking for girls. My son has proof." The police officer looked sternly at my brother. "Do you have evidence?" My brother panicked, his legs trembling, and obediently handed over the video footage of father looking for girls. With clear evidence, father was arrested on the spot. Before he was led away, he gritted his teeth, glaring at mother and brother. "You people want to kill me to be satisfied, don't you? Fine, don't expect anyone to live in peace." My mother, in fact, didn't understand the law and didn't expect father to be immediately detained. One moment she was furiously cursing father, "Serves him right." The next she was blaming brother, "You jinx. If it weren't for you, would this family be in such a state? If it weren't for you threatening your father, would he have been arrested?" My brother frantically turned to me for help. "Say something." I slowly opened my mouth. "Mother is right." My brother went crazy and started arguing with mother. I just stood calmly, enjoying the dog-eat-dog spectacle. In my previous life, they had poured all their greed and wickedness onto me. In this life, without a pitiful child to blame, these three scoundrels finally bared their fangs at each other. In the scorching summer heat, I still wore full clothing, enduring the sun to visit my father. He was so moved he shed tears. Only my daughter is father's warm little cotton jacket. I pretended to be on the verge of fainting from the heat, then sighed. "Father, do you truly believe in the Saintess? So many things have happened to our family. I feel like the Saintess has no effect at all. Father, do you think mother might be?" I pointed to my head but hesitated to finish. Then I changed the subject, sighing, "Oh, perhaps I'm overthinking. Mother is still very normal. If there were really a problem, she would have been taken away already." I shook my head, stood up, and left, but my father couldn't ignore that unfinished sentence. A few days later, his eyes began to look strange. 20 days later, my father was finally released. But that very night, my mother was taken to a psychiatric hospital by a group of doctors in white coats. It turned out my father had exaggerated and embellished all of mother's behaviors and symptoms to the doctors. He even lied, claiming mother had almost killed someone. The witness for my father was my brother. In their eyes, I was still a gentle, weak daughter, so they didn't involve me in this. My mother screamed hysterically, "I'm not sick. I'm not sick," but the diagnosis was schizophrenia with a recommendation for long-term inpatient treatment. My father intentionally chose a dark private hospital where entering was like entering a prison. Inside the ward, my mother smashed things and shrieked wildly. The Saintess's dream was real. I'm not sick. It's him. It's him who wants to harm me. It's him and that unfilial son. They hate me. They want me dead. A female nurse smiled gently, pushing a sedative needle while coaxing. "Madam, how could your husband and son want to harm you? That goes against morality and ethics, doesn't it? And you say you're not sick." My mother tried to explain, but the medication had entered her bloodstream, making her drowsy and confused. We left the hospital and got into the car to go home. My father wore a heavy expression, sighing, "You can't blame your father and brother. Who would have known your mother was really sick?" I lowered my head, feigning tears over mother's illness. None of them saw the cold smile on my lips. Yes, this family is truly rotten to the core. Blood relatives, yet one by one, pushing each other into the abyss. I turned my head to look out the window, seeing a family of 3 happily embracing their child, strolling through the streets. A bitter feeling welled up in my heart. But so what? Fate is determined by heaven, but life is held in one's own hands. In this life, I must definitely cut off this toxic relationship and live a life that belongs only to me. My family became the laughingstock of the entire apartment complex. Neighbors avoided us as if we were carrying a plague. Online, our family's scandalous stories spread everywhere, even being turned into memes and jokes. My father and brother were like rats scurrying across the street. Everyone wanted to curse them. As for me, despite the neighbors' contemptuous glances, I visited mother at the hospital every day, rain or shine. Before long, I earned everyone's sympathy. This little girl is truly the only sane one in that family. What a filial daughter. I was already 18, old enough to take out a bank loan. I used that loan money to give to the hospital, asking them to take better care of my mother. I was sure the hospital would report this to my father. Once the money was in their pockets, they wouldn't let go. But at the same time, if father had money in hand, he would definitely think about special care for mother. Indeed, after a short time, mother became thin and emaciated, like a withered leaf about to fall. She grabbed my hand, weeping and pleading, "Save me, they don't let me talk, they don't let me walk. Every little while they hit and kick me." My mother pulled up her sleeve, revealing numerous bruises and wounds. But the nurse nearby coldly said, "The patient's condition is getting worse. These injuries are self-inflicted." My eyes welled up with tears and I gently comforted her. "Mother, you must listen to the doctors. When you get better, I'll come pick you up." The last light in mother's eyes flickered out. Excellent, I thought. I deliberately exposed a bottle of sleeping pills in my handbag. My mother saw it, immediately snatched it, and demanded, "What kind of medicine is this?" I sighed, crying so much that tears streamed down my face. With everything that's happened to our family, how could I sleep? If it weren't for this medicine, I wouldn't have been able to hold on. This is medicine the doctor prescribed for me, but you can't take too much. An overdose would be very dangerous. After saying that, I went to the restroom. When I returned, I gently advised mother a few more times, then put on my backpack and left the hospital. As I stepped out of the hospital gate, I was certain of one thing. The bottle of medicine in my bag had vanished, and everything was going exactly according to my plan. When the news of my mother's suicide by overdose spread, just as I was getting ready for bed, my phone suddenly rang. After the call, I didn't even change clothes. I just wore my pajamas and slippers, rushing out. Father and brother were busy partying outside. I didn't even bother to call them. At the hospital, I learned that mother had passed away. The cause of death, an overdose of sleeping pills, the very pills she had secretly taken from my handbag. I collapsed to the floor, wailing tragically, "Mother, it's all my fault. I killed you, Mother. Let me atone for you, Mother." Many people surrounded us, filming and taking pictures, but medical staff quickly rushed over, holding me tightly to prevent me from hitting my head to commit suicide. More than 10 minutes later, my father and brother slowly appeared. They were dressed impeccably, looking polished, without a hint of panic or grief over losing a loved one. My father glanced at mother's body, frowned, and said coldly, "Cremate her. She's dead, nothing else can be done." But I suddenly lunged, hugging father's legs. "No, mother died unjustly. Someone definitely harmed her." I ignored my father and brother's expressions, crying out in front of everyone. The hospital diagnosed mother with schizophrenia, saying she had no normal cognition. So how did she know what sleeping pills were and intentionally overdosed to commit suicide? Before she died, mother told me she was beaten and tortured. I calmly, bit by bit, presented all the evidence I had secretly collected. Criminal police were also present. They began to suspect. But before the case could be investigated further, my father suddenly delivered 2 powerful slaps to my face. Haven't you brought enough shame upon us? You killed your mother. Your mother probably thought the sleeping pills were candy, so she just ate them all. You killed mother, bringing our family down. Now what else do you want to cause? Finally, this moment arrived. I looked at father in shock, bursting into sobs. Father, how can you say that? Mother was devoted and virtuous to you her whole life, yet you're even handling her funeral arrangements so carelessly. Or are you hiding something? My father roared in anger. What nonsense are you talking? He kicked me hard in the chest, sending me staggering to the ground. At this moment, I suddenly remembered that to protect mother, I had secretly placed many miniature cameras with audio recording capabilities in her hospital room. And luckily, before leaving that day, I had retrieved all the footage. The criminal police, seeing my unwavering determination, immediately confiscated the recording devices. A few hours later, all the acts of violence and torture, all of mother's accusations against the hospital, all that sickening truth, was exposed before the police. Knowing the truth, I was too pained, too shocked, and fainted on the spot. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The person looking after me was a volunteer. She told me, "Your father and brother have both been arrested and are awaiting trial. This is a crime of intentional murder. The sentence will not be light." I silently clenched my fists. Finally, they have to pay the price. Seizing this opportunity, I publicly released all the evidence, the diaries I had kept for many years, the vlogs I had secretly filmed. I posted everything online under the account name, Justice for Mother, for the one pushed into the abyss. In just a few days, this incident exploded across the entire internet. Netizens were furious. My family officially became one of the worst scandals of the year. But all of this was not my true purpose. I wanted my father, mother, and brother, all 3 of them, to be disgraced for eternity. In my diary, every line clearly stated, to cater to my mother's extreme sensitivities, I carefully pretended to believe in the Saintess. To lessen the burden on my father and brother, I suffered alone. To endure my mother's oppression in silence, I tried to be patient. But my father and brother continuously made mistakes, causing chaos in the family. Father was detained in jail. In the scorching sun, only I visited him. Then my mother became mentally ill, despairing to the point of madness. Every day I went to the hospital to care for her. I even took on debt just so mother could live more comfortably. Yet, when my mother died, the real culprit, my father, dared to punch and kick me. Everyone around felt pity. On the day my father and brother were brought to trial, the angry crowd threw water bottles and spat at them. I, however, was praised as a strong weed growing from adversity, born into poverty but still living righteously and resiliently. My father and brother not only committed murder, but also murdered their own flesh and blood. Their crime was too cruel. Father was sentenced to 20 years in prison, brother was sentenced to 15 years in prison. The day they entered prison, I had completed my career plan for the next 5 years. Mother was dead, father and brother were in prison. I studied and worked as a blogger. I used the same account that exposed the truth to continue reporting on good things, on stories of justice. With a major in journalism, plus media experience, I became a potential candidate. When I graduated, major media companies all wanted to hire me. For the first time, I stood before a camera. I smiled genuinely. I wore a white dress, confidently smiling brightly, revealing my perfectly aligned teeth. I was living my own life. Mother, why, even at your death, did you not understand? Truly excellent people, regardless of gender, never live for others, but for themselves.